A reading from the 40th chapter of the book of Isaiah. To whom then will you compare me, or who is my equal, says the Holy One. Lift up your eyes on high and see who created these. He who brings out their hosts and numbers them, calling them by name. Because he is great in strength, mighty in power, no one is missing. Why do you say, O Jacob, and speak, O Israel, my way is hidden from the Lord, and my right is disregarded by God? Have you not known? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He does not faint or grow weary. His understanding is unsearchable. He gives power to the faint and strengthens the powerless. Even youths will faint and be weary, and the young will fall exhausted. But those who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint.
In this reading, Isaiah was talking to the Israelites who were living in captivity in Babylon. They were tired, despondent, and exhausted. They thought that God either couldn't help them or didn't care about them. Isaiah's response was rather like giving them a pep talk. First of all, he asked questions, big questions, questions they and we should think about. Have they considered God's greatness? Have they thought about the size of the universe? It's impossible to begin even to grasp the immensity of God's creation. When I was taking assemblies at Inkborough School, one of the children's favourite songs was "Our God is a great big God." Our God is a great big God, and he holds us in his hands. He's higher than a skyscraper. He's deeper than a submarine. He's wider than the universe and beyond my wildest dreams. He's known to me and he's loved me since before the world began. How wonderful to be a part of God's amazing plan. And that sums it all up, really. Our God is beyond our wildest imaginings. Isaiah asked the captive Israelites to look up and wonder at the stars in heaven, all created, numbered and named by God. In Isaiah's time, just looking at the night sky would have been amazing enough. With the naked eye, we can see about 3,000 stars. We now know that there are at least 100 billion stars in our Milky Way galaxy. And the Milky Way is just one of the 100 billion galaxies in the known universe. Our knowledge of the solar system increases almost every week. Planets are being discovered on a regular basis, and given global warming, the race is now on to find new planets that could perhaps support life. The further into space we go, the more our understanding grows at the vastness of the universe and our own smallness by comparison. This reading reminds me of Job, who railed against God and bemoaned his lot, the result, it must be said, of a bet between God and Satan. God's reply to Job was first and foremost to assert God's sovereignty and power over the world. "Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth?" he asked Job. Not, we might think, very helpful in Job's situation. What Isaiah said to the Israelites about the immensity and power of God didn't, to begin with, seem very helpful either. Compared to God, we're nothing, less than a drop in the ocean or a speck of dust, all very humbling. Now, we don't like to think of ourselves in that way. We like to think we're the centre of our universe. And how often have we challenged God's wisdom or justice, either openly or in our hearts? How often do we set ourselves up against God? But God is God, and we're not. It's easy to feel forgotten and lost. When we see the many injustices in the world that seem to go unchallenged, or when we cry for help and there's no apparent answer. It can be easy to feel like the Israelites, that God either can't help or doesn't care, that the universe is just vast and meaningless. But Isaiah told the Israelites and tells us now that God is fully aware of everything, and that includes us. God is in control. And as we're told in both St. Matthew and St. Luke's Gospels, even the very hairs on your head are all numbered. So don't be afraid. Isaiah went on to say that when we struggle with exhaustion and weakness and feel we've no strength to continue, God is never exhausted or weak. Not only is he untiring in his work, he also gives his strength and renewal to those who wait on the Lord. His strength and renewal is there for us if we ask for it. God's generosity is free and limitless. The great promise of Isaiah, they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength, not those who work for the Lord, but those who wait for him. This isn't about doing our part and asking God to do the rest. This isn't about showing God how strong we are and asking him to give us just a bit more. No, it's about admitting that we don't have the strength we need. It's about acknowledging that we need the strength only God can give. For all those who are burdened by the struggles of life, the picture Isaiah paints is that of soaring on wings of eagles. It's a wonderful and uplifting picture. We are to wait for the Lord. This is more than just passively passing time. It's more a sense of hopeful expectation that in the middle of hardship, God works all things together for our good. How does God bring us this strength and renewal? As Christians, we look to Jesus, who came to us and said, "Come to me, all who labour and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Jesus carried the burden of our sin upon himself on the cross. He rose again and sent his Spirit to strengthen us in our weakness, to enable us to soar on wings of eagles. Amen.